I started having a really bad Xanax addiction. I think I knew before my parents found out I was shipping drugs and realized that I was taking a bunch of Xanax. No one really at first wants to go to rehab. No one wants to stop when they're in that moment. But I definitely knew that shipping the drugs, the coke, maybe the acid or mushrooms, that I saw it was Xanax was something that was going to end up needing to be cut out of my life, and I was going to need to figure out healthy ways to deal with my anxiety instead of relying on something that frankly is just as addicting as pain pills or heroin when you think about it, especially with someone that might have an addictive personality. That's when people end up dying from Xanax, from blacking out and falling off a cliff or getting in a car accident.
What was rehab like?
Rehab was difficult. It was a bit of a shock for me because you go to rehab or you're not going to be a part of our lives for the time being. And since I'm very close with my family, it hurt that that was even going to be an option. I knew whether I was doing this for myself or I was doing it for them at the start. And I kicked and screamed when I got there because it was wilderness rehab and I'm not the most outdoorsy person. So for me to be stuck in the woods for 5 days at a time, hiking 10 miles a day, it sounded miserable, but it was the only option that gave me. They didn't want to send me to passages now. Like I told them, if I'm going to rehab, when I was 5150 by them, while they were figuring it out, I told them, I said, you'll be going to rehab, passages now though. Sounded like such an asshole. But the first week or two was very difficult in the wilderness because it was also withdrawing from Xanax, which I didn't go to a detox before like most people would, detoxing off heroin. And so the thing with Xanax detox is it's really dangerous because your body goes into shock because you're having panic attacks every other, hours. The littlest thing could give you, enough anxiety for your body to shut down. And that happened a few times. The first week in the woods where I sat there like a little bitch, cried to the guides, told them I was gonna fucking just not leave and I'm just gonna stay here and have somebody come get me and take me out of the woods. And they're like, yeah, sure, that's gonna happen. You can sit here and when we hike back in 2 days, we'll get you. And it wasn't until the third week where I was kind of not sore anymore from all the hiking. I was actually enjoying the nature. We would see bears, I saw snakes, cool deer and bucks, and everyone was actually super nice. I didn't want to get to know any of the people at the rehab at first because in my head I was like, oh, I'm going to go back to Oregon after this. And I'm just not going to do Xanax. I knew once I had a clear mind, week 3 out there, I was like, I'll never cut it again. I have not touched a Xanax or since 2017. It will be, no, 2016. It'll be 9 years in August. I mean, when mom's Jewish, neurotic, just annoying at times and we fight, but I mean, it's not like it was back then. My mom, says to me now, she was worried that I was going to die out there. I wasn't talking to Ben. Me and my mom talk every day or every other day, at least for 5 to 10 minutes, just check in and, catch up, stuff like that.